Yeah, it's just that simple. I mean, we're kind of coming right. Preseason started. I don't know if there is days off anymore now, right?
No, we are going every single Monday. I think we might give ourselves Thanksgiving off.
Okay. Well, that's a Thursday, right?
No, our Canadian
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
okay, okay. I thought we were talking schedule.
American Thanksgiving, unfortunately, I'll be stuck working all day long on my job before
Yeah.
we get to watch any football. And my workplace doesn't watch sports, I found out.
Oh no, that's
Yeah,
tough, man.
that was a tough one to learn because last year we set up a computer on the counter and just had the game going all day long. We were just placing bets and watching Thanksgiving football.
That was the biggest change for me from when I went working at a restaurant into working in a big boy job where I'm going, there's not sports on all day long, or if I'm bored, I can just watch something, right?
You can like set your TVs up and like the lap that you have to walk the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. There was always a Devils game on, even when they were bad, somehow.
It's one of those things where it's like, all right, I put it here. I got Bucks here over top of the bar, so I can always stand back like this. On my way to the kitchen, I put red zone
Nice.
every time.
Nice.
So if I'm looking out at the people, like in the restaurant,
Sure.
the bar, I can see red zone.
Yeah.
And then when you walk to the dining room, I had the Bucks game on directly there. And then on the one that came out of the kitchen with the kitchen door.
So, like me, even when the Devils were horrible, they made the TV. Even when the Bucks were horrible, they made the TV.
Which I know it's crazy to believe. Majority of my life, they have sucked.
Yeah.
We've had a few good years. But, like, I tell people, I was like, oh, when you're a Bucks fan, like in the 2000s, like, I wish I was a early 2000 Bucks fan. I was a 90s Buck fan, cream skull orange. Like, I was 7 with a metallic cream skull jacket, which as an adult would be really badass and like old school.
Sure.
As a 7-year-old in the 90s, kids were mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, I don't. Were they? Who was the big top dog back in the '90s? Were they like? Would you consider Tampa now to be big market, or are they still small?
They're still small market.
They all. Because I was going to say, you kind of give me hope for a guy who. The Titans were small market. Maybe this new stadium along the way they become big market. Now, before we get into football too much, you mentioned taking Mondays off, and we took a Monday off last week, didn't we?
We did.
Oh
We
yeah,
had a great time.
yeah, man. We got to go to the Fox, get 18 holes in. I'm sure it felt like 20. It was a good round though. I had fun. It was the first time I've been out in a couple of months, so it was nice to get the grease going again. And how you played well. I was, I had a really good drive.
Score didn't show how well I played.
Sure.
I hit the ball better than I think I ever have. Shout out to Jake at Next Golf. Yeah, I got fixed a lot of things in my life right there.
Yeah, Jake, he did tell me that you fixed his drive, and I'd never seen it before. So how bad was it? But like, man, it's a really nice shot now.
You get right on the side. I think I hit 70% of my fairway.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think that I can count on my hands. The only time you didn't hit a fairway was maybe when you didn't have a driver in your hand, which is not usually the case, right?
Yeah, no, I was driving was on point. I do agree. Like the one thing that happened, Jake really fixed my game. My distances were so off.
Okay.
Because I was striking the ball properly.
Okay, so everything. So is that little trick that he showed you putting the foot back? Was that for every club that you started doing?
I did.
Yeah,
I did use it. Obviously, on my drive, I use it the most. But on my long irons, I did.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a natural, I guess, pull, we'll call it. I'm sure the pros call it a fade or a draw, however they want to, but like, there's just planned.
Yeah.
It's a pull. I'm not going to lie about it.
That usually happens when you're trying too hard. So maybe Jake just told you to swing it easy.
He said have a couple pops.
Yeah.
Tone her down a little bit.
Sure. Go over your neighborhood ginger.
Yeah.
And have a good time, right?
But yeah, we had a great time shooting it up. And like I said, it was a great day. A couple of my buddies went out with us.
Yeah.
And the one guy, I was told that he was going to maybe break 120. Well, they're a bunch of fucking liars.
Yeah, he's a shark, bro.
Yeah, he was dropping those things down.
Yeah. His recovery shots were some of the nicest I've ever seen. Like, it didn't matter how poor his first shot was going to be. Sometimes even the second shot, how poor that may have been. And that's usually the detriment to your play. And this guy would recover every time and put it on the green in a nice spot. So good for him, man. I mean, that's a good way to go out. Meeting a new couple of guys, and then all of a sudden you play that well. Like, that's pretty cool, man.
Because like, I think everybody played well as far as striking the ball. Because you had a tough time on the tee, but like, you scrambled to make some holes work.
Well, 18, I got a birdie, and somehow I started on the other fairway, on 10's fairway. So off the drive.
The secret of missing a fairway is miss enough that you're in the other fairway.
You get that perfect shot to come back to, right?
So yeah, like, I don't know. I hope we can do it again before the season ends, but like football is rolling now, so it's I got my own football rolling too, so that makes it a bit more tough. Like, I had one of my buddies reach like, "Hey man, like we got to golf for the end of the season." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know when that's happening."
Yeah.
Like this weekend we have cornhole, and we're helping our buddy Jesse for the hot sauce call. I'm gonna be at Calapalooza in Woodstock on Saturday.
Giddy up.
I think so. All I was
Are
told.
you gonna get some cow pies? No, you don't want those.
No, I don't think so.
No,
But
cow pie's not something you eat.
but I will tell you this: there's supposed to be 15,000 people walking through this bad boy. Wow. I'm gonna be slinging hot sauce all day. We're gonna sell some barbecue sauce to all the people who love beef at Calapalooza.
Sure.
And then the next day on Sunday, we have our cornhole again.
Unreal. I mean, and the first time that we did cornhole here was a fantastic turnout. I'm excited for the second go around now because they know we're here.
They know we're here, and like a couple changes. We got a DJ coming in.
Yeah.
2 to 5. So that vibe's gonna be going out of the courtyard nonstop.
Yeah.
Once again, so we didn't tell you, it's right here at 100 Kellogg's down at Powerhouse in the courtyard. We are going cornhole. The link is in our bio to sign up and register. Come check it out. But yeah, like last time.
And names do not matter. You can come up with some of the funniest names. I'm not going to say all the ones that I was yelling out that day, but I think that you might be using the megaphone that day. So if you guys can come up with some good names to make chat have to yell out in the courtyard, that'd be nice.
There's not a lot of things I haven't said on this show. So we are going to go from there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we had 32 teams last time. It was crazy. I know we're going to fill it up again. That's without a doubt. I think we ended up having really like 100 people show up just randomly. The vibe was cool. Drinks were flowing. Everybody had a good time. And I'm excited to do it again.
Sure.
And then we're kind of rolling right into the NFL season. We got fantasy drafts coming up. I don't know. I don't know where I'm picking my own league this year. Last year I went number 2. And
what about that dual league that you and Shane do, the team league?
Yeah, that league's been going. We are not liked in that league.
Yeah, I can understand why. Every time you guys tell them, like, these guys even watch football, the ones you're playing against? Because the players you guys have on your team, like, even some of them, like Wendy, were sleepers, but a lot of them are like, they were good after week 4. How is nobody picking them up?
Yeah, and like, it's a keeper league, so we just kept this, like, stacked team every single year. And then, like, we just draft quarterbacks because we drop our quarterbacks every day and just draft a new one. But then we can keep running back, receiver. Is that the way
of the new NFL, hopefully, after all these silly NFL quarterback contracts?
I think it has to be, right? Like, that being said, like, I always laugh about it because, like, the best quarterback in football is Patrick Mahomes. It's not even close. I don't think there's a better one. And we had this conversation when he got signed. Because we were like, at that point, it was the most astronomical contract we'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying on the show, they're paying him what is expected in 5 years. Well, the game lapped him.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of quarterbacks who are nowhere near Patrick Mahomes' level, whether it's the top paid, second paid, or fifth paid, that are making significantly more money than him.
Yeah.
He is the 11th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Which
he says he's not underpaid. If that works, is worth anything.
I don't know if you could ever say being paid $45 billion is underpaid.
Yeah.
But like, at what point does he take that? I don't. Tom Brady took team-friendly deals, but he also took Tom Brady-friendly deals.
Well, I think that it was kind of, and there's other players in other sports. Shohei is one of them, where, you know, he has a market for him, and it's a different type of market, but he can get money through sponsorships.
Yeah.
Right. So does it hurt the team? Like, do you need to have the bottom line of the dollar from the teams, or can you get it out of Nike? Right. At the end of the day, or any other sponsorship you can come across. I have been saying, you and I have butted heads numerous times about Trevor Lawrence and the way of the quarterback contracts and the players not deserving of it. And I keep saying that Jacksonville will be that team that is going to rear its ugly head. I mean, they did it once with Blake Bortles, but with Lawrence here, they need to buy players. You can't do that with a high quarterback that's being paid, right?
So, like I said, I agree with you, but I'm like, that's just the way the game goes. Like, we got into a heated fight on it. If anybody ever wants to go back to a couple episodes, there was F-bombs coming east and west direction. If we can ever find that clip, that would be a great one to put up on the must-see TV.
Yeah. I just, at some point, I think the NFL's got to start going the Moneyball route. And you can't put too much money in one player. I understand, the quarterback touches the ball every play, that they're on the field, yada, yada, yada. But you can build a pretty damn well-balanced team without having to have a
I don't
quarterback.
think anybody's worth $55 million.
No,
That's 30% of your cap.
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
And so, like, perfect transition right now. There is a team that has to sign 3 very important people. And all 3 of those people are asking for a third of the team salary cap.
Are we referring to the Niners, or who are you referring to here?
Dallas Cowboys.
For the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Who's the third?
Mika Parsons.
Who said he's going to take off after 2027 to go to the Olympics, he said. I don't know if you saw that tweet today or not.
To do what?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But, like, buddy, you're going to be old in Olympic standards. And, like, it's like
almost ancient in NFL standards.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do? I don't know.
So,
like,
he wants 30.
Mm-hmm.
Dak wants 50 plus. CD wants 30. Well, that's $130 million between the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Somebody's not getting paid. CeeDee Lamb, and Jerry Jones came out and said, I'm not paying you today.
Yeah.
He put it in a much more cryptic way, but, like...
Did you see his comment today?
Yeah.
Did you saw the one where he said, like, you are missed, CD, but you're not missed as far as, like, a competitive standpoint or something? Yeah. We're not missing you here, not competing or something along those lines.
And I was like, okay. Out of those 3, who's your odd man out? I can tell you who it is.
Who is it?
CD. Hear me out.
Okay.
You have to have a pass rusher.
Well, and Mika isn't just a pass rusher.
He does everything.
Yeah, he does literally everything.
He is their defense.
Yeah.
Your defense flows through him. On the offense, as much as people aren't huge fans of Dak, what are you getting that's better? Unfortunately, you're going to be too good to get a top 5 quarterback. And unless you think Trey Lance is that guy, you can get him very cheap next year.
Which I don't think dude threw 41 times in the first game of the preseason. They lost by a point.
Yeah. Like, they gave him every opportunity to show what you could do. And next week, you know what they're going to do? The exact same thing.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have to.
They need to see what they have without Dak, because if Trey does not show in flash, they have to pay Dak. That team is too good and too talented to not keep going. Realistically, the Cowboys can go 5-12, and their fan base won't care. That being said, Jerry's about to die.
Yeah.
And he wants one more.
Yeah.
I just don't know how the 3 of those guys can coexist in contract negotiations, because someone's taking a cut, and it doesn't seem like anybody wants to.
I don't even know if I truly don't even know if Dallas is that good of a team. They're just, I think, very fortunate that they're in a very weak division outside of Philadelphia. They get a few wins there, and the NFC just isn't really that tough.
Outside of the 49ers and the Lions, there's no one else in that division, I feel. And that's right, that conference. Like, the Bucs are going to win the South. It is what it is. But outside of that...
You think the Bucs are going to win the South?
I do.
Interesting.
I think with the deal that Baker took, it put them in a very good position to do well. They got to keep everybody they wanted to keep. I think it also showed his teammates that he's in it to win and not to get paid. The guy's been paid. He doesn't need money. Progressive paid him enough.
Yeah.
For those really bad commercials. Like, I don't know what's worse, his football that season or those commercials, but either way, he got paid.
I didn't mind the commercials. I think I can't think of an athlete commercial that wasn't corny. Like, they're all in some regard corny, right? So I think that what he did was kind of jokes. I think he calling the field and everything his home and based on, I think that was kind of funny. It let Baker's attitude come through the commercial, I think, a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. And all I know is that Atlanta, I think there's too many holes there. I did like Mike Penix's debut. He did play pretty well.
If Justin Simmons signs there, that defense can be pretty scary.
The defense was good last year.
Yeah. Secondary-wise, they were already really good. They can be very good now if they get Simmons in there. Which I'm really surprised that he didn't get signed by the Saints. I don't know how they have the cap room to sign him in the first place.
They never have cap room.
Yeah. But it's weird. I'm surprised that they let him get out of there.
So as far as the South goes, I don't see anyone playing with you. Carolina's going to be bad. We know that. There's too many holes there. Atlanta, You don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to be like. Is Michael Penix be ready? Who knows? The Saints are the Saints. They've been Tampa's kryptonite the last 5 years, though, so you know they're going to play us tough. Dennis Allen is going to coach us tough. We lost our offensive coordinator, so that could be a step back, and I am worried about that. But outside, I don't think that Tampa's in a bad position in the South because it is not a super strong division. I don't like being a first place schedule again. We did it last year, and we won 10 games.
Yeah. Who did your offensive coordinator go?
He's head coach of Carolina.
Yeah, that's weird, eh? Weird inside the division like that. I mean, it makes sense.
He wasn't their first choice.
Yeah.
I don't think people wanted that job. I think it's an audition, I guess, is the best way to put it for any head coach. Like, if you go in there and don't do horrible, you're probably going to get fired. But I might take one of those teams who, like, underachieved and won 7 games looking for a coach. It might bump you up to that tier.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I wouldn't take that job. It's a death sentence.
Yeah. Between the quarterback and Brian Burns now gone, like, what are you excited about on defense? There's not much to be excited about. Offensively, I don't know, man. There's nothing there either, really. It's a pretty sad state that the Carolina Panthers are in right now. It sucks to be a fan of them. I would be pretty upset.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know one Panthers fan. I know 2, sorry. And, yeah, I couldn't imagine what it's like. That's just another team that is okay sucking.
Yeah. I've never been a Bryce Young truther here. Like, I've never been supportive of him. I think that he's pretty mediocre. I think it's just height and his size, unfortunately, that is just to his detriment, right? But I am interested to see if he can take some kind of step in year 2.
Unfortunately, they haven't been able to give him anything.
Yeah, they didn't. No.
And, like, I'm going to use the Chicago Bears as this reference. The Bears did nothing for Justin Fields. And I think Justin Fields is better than Bryce Young. I'm going to say that. The Bears moved on. They brought in a quarterback and then surrounded him with nothing but talent.
Yeah.
So I've been open about how I feel about Caleb Williams. I don't think he's going to be a bad NFL quarterback. I don't.
That first throw, bro, that to me was everything I wanted to see out of Caleb Williams more was the very first throw that he did when he was running off to the right and just guns it down for completion. Like, and it was in between 2 defenders too. I've
never questioned his talent.
Yeah, I think
that's the one thing. I've never questioned his talent. I've questioned his other shit. His maturity is the one. His leadership is the other. Hey, man, I've been wrong about quarterbacks before and I eat it. I don't think he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
I just don't know if his maturity is ready for NFL locker room. But that being said, that's why I'm in London, Ontario doing this show, and he's playing in the NFL as the first pick overall. I'm sure those guys did their due diligence when they interviewed him.
Sure.
And they talked to coaches and players and all blah, blah, blah.
And listen, the last time that I said this to the guys before, I have knocked on Pac-12 quarterbacks for years. Since Matt Leinart, I've knocked on Pac-12 quarterbacks. And I learned the hard way with Justin Herbert, which is the last Pac-12 quarterback that I made fun of, that maybe that's...
We all made fun of Justin Herbert, by the way. Yeah. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
And I own up to it all the time. That guy made me eat some words.
Yeah. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. That being said, I'm not bought into the Penix stuff, though, just so we know. We're well aware.
No, I said he looked good in the preseason, but who knows?
Wicked arm. Just guy can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. So, but back to this Bryce Young thing, what we're trying to say is, this is what I honestly feel that he's going to get the Justin Fields treatment. Like, by year 4, he's going to be on the up, but it's too little too late. They're going to ship him out of draft again, and then they're going to bring those pieces in. I'm really scared he's going to fall into that category.
I think he's going to flame out just as hard as Zach Wilson did.
Zach Wilson's in a tough spot.
But that's the thing, isn't he? Like, over in Denver, I mean, talking about it, like, he's in Denver, right? You've got him, you got Stidham, and Bo Nix. And Bo Nix got like the majority of the reps yesterday, or not yesterday, Saturday's game. I can't remember when they played anyway. But Stidham was named like the starter for the game and only got like 7 reps. To me, when you see the first preseason game, 7 reps are like that's usually your starter.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wilson just can't even get a break out there with the guru,
Sean Payton,
right? And I know you guys were big on Bo Nix. I think you were big on Bo Nix, right?
I like Nix, yeah.
And that was funny. And I know we're hopping around the games here, but I thought Tim Patrick gets his first catch in 2 years. gets a taunting penalty right after. It's like, well, that's what the preseason's for, man. You bust that in the regular season, you're in real trouble with Sean Payton. But yeah, like Zach Wilson flamed over there, and I just think Bryce Young, that's going to be his direction. I think he's got a lot of pedigree right now because of where he came from. Not that Zach Wilson came from a pretty tough school, but I think that's literally the only thing that's holding Bryce Young in his spot is that he came from Alabama. You put that guy from Western Virginia or East Carolina, like that guy is already going to be having somebody up his coattails this year in the preseason to be a starter potentially. It's not going to happen there now.
No, like you draft him first overall with an intent for him to be the guy.
All the package you gave up, but how quickly will you give up? Like I think back to when Arizona did it with Josh Rosen, right? They gave up a bit to get Josh, and then traded him the next year to go and get Kyler Murray. So it could certainly happen. That team, if they're shit again, I'm not trying to be a homer here, but if we're going to put Quinn Ewers up against Bryce Young, I'm sorry, Quinn Ewers is coming out on top every time, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, like I don't know. We were talking about last year. I didn't think Bryce was a number one pick. No one on the show actually did. I think
the package was a little rough.
Yeah.
That was a lot to give up for that, I think, was the only thing. I think that's why he's
safe.
Yeah. And why I think I give him a bit of a harder time is because, like, if so much was given up for you, right?
So we're going to talk about a little quarterback controversy here.
Oh, no.
We are. And this is one that's going to probably make you very happy.
Okay.
Before last season started,
yeah,
there was a quarterback that I was very high
on. Uh-oh.
He is not looking very good right now in training camp and in game one. And the same team drafted a quarterback in the later rounds. The New England Patriots.
Your boy Drake.
I went back on my words halfway through the season last year.
Yeah.
And I said, I bought into the hype too early. He didn't look great at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else said he was still good enough to go in the first few picks. I retracted that statement. Thank God, I feel better about that. But going back to last summer, I was very high on this kid. Joe Milton is looking like he could be the guy in New England.
He's got the zip in his arm, they're saying. Had a couple of rough practices for Drake May. My big takeaway, appearances and everything. But the guy looks just like a bit of a more muscular version of Mac Jones. And the way he performs in the pocket and commands in the pocket kind of looks eerily similar too. But Joe Milton is like, I don't know, man. That guy's on a different level right now on the field.
He's a grown-ass man.
He played really, really well. I'm excited for New England fans. They've had a couple of rough years after their boy left, but it is tough and as a Titan, like we've been chasing a quarterback for a long time. Just find it in a late round and like this guy to come out of nowhere. Then now we talk about trade bait potentially in a couple of years with Drake May potentially, like
Kirk Cousins and RG3 all over again. If Drake May doesn't look good in the preseason, I think you have to start him because you drafted him ahead of him. But that leash is this long.
Yeah. So this is going to be the pack. They're going to start throwing in offensive packages where they get both quarterbacks in the field at the same time. See who performs better.
The Bill's not there, so that's probably not going to happen.
You never know. But yeah, I know that is. It's sad to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Hey man, I said I retracted it half of the season.
Yeah,
it's like I might have spoke a little too early.
Well, there's another quarterback that went in the first round that has also not had a very good preseason as far as the training camp goes. He had an okay game. It was J.J. McCarthy.
Makes you feel so happy.
Yeah, the guy had
Michigan.
He's had
to say it one time.
Absolutely brutal training camp, from what I understand. And he's had to test his resilience a couple of times.
I heard he's going to be number 3 on the depth chart.
Yeah,
I don't even know who the other quarterback is other than Sam Darnold.
I don't know who number 2 is there either. Yeah, but I'm cheering for JJ because he's come from a pro system, but same thing. The guy is the size of Bryce Young as far as like build and everything about him. Does he have some moxie? I do believe he has some moxie, but I don't think he's throwing the ball more than 30 yards downfield.
He doesn't have an NFL arm.
Yeah, he's not.
That was the knock on him last year in college.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody loved him. And we had this debate numerous times. And everybody just thought I was a hater because he went to Michigan. Hey, man, this was a pretty good quarterback that went to Michigan.
Yeah.
He's probably the greatest that's ever done it. I liked him at Michigan. It pains me to say that.
Yeah.
I actually was a big Tom Brady fan because he was on TV every week. And he had to bail out Drew Henson every single week
when
he was at Michigan. Denard Robinson, I liked him a lot there. He was still fun to watch. But yeah,
without the shoes tied up, right?
Yeah, it was so
I believe
strange.
he got away with that in the NFL for as long as he did too. Before, like he did his entire career, man.
They moved him to receiver, so it wasn't as bad. But yeah,
yeah.
they were just jailing him on the line and stepping on that.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
But yeah, no, I just think JJ's gonna have a tough time. I don't think he has the arm strength, and it's a big field. And when the guys are as fast as they are, the field looks significantly bigger because closing speed is significantly faster.
Mm.
That field to the throw to the field, the far side, is going to be a very, very hard throw for him. And unfortunately, in college, you can kind of cut the field off. In the pros, it doesn't work.
And not in the NFC North. That's a big problem for him because those are three tough teams, secondary-wise, that can get to a ball fast. And I know I harp about divisional games a lot, but I mean, it's almost a half your schedule when it comes down to it, right? And if half your schedule is playing against a pretty quick and strong secondary, it's going to be tough in the NFC North. It is.
And like, yes, you have Justin Jefferson. That does help. But is that going to help when you're playing against the Lions pass rush? When you're playing against some really good players in Green Bay?
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Coming on the outside, yeah.
And it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
And it's going to be cold in Chicago. And I forget his name, Johnson. I can't think of his first name.
Who?
In Chicago. The corner. It's not Johnson?
Jalen Johnson?
Yeah. He's pretty good, too. So yeah,
he's got paid.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Chose to stay back after asking for a trade earlier in the season, re-upped and said it's because he's sick and tired of Chicago fans having to deal with bad teams. That was one of the coolest lines of the offseason. It's time for fans to start being proud of their team again. Like, that was really, really neat that he was like, I'm sticking here because it's time for you guys, for you fans, to finally have this, right? Finally have somebody want to be here.
And so that's going to happen in Tennessee because no one wants to be there. Everybody wants to leave.
I don't know. We have a few people join this offseason. Another quarterback, though, before we start talking about the Titans, because we'll talk all night about them. But another quarterback who had an absolutely horrendous preseason game, who says he's just going to have to roll with the punches, Stetson Bennett. Did you see his game? 4 interceptions yesterday.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. This guy has been waiting in the wings. I thought Sean McVay would unlock something out of this kid who took his time to come to the NFL in the first place, played for some pretty damn good teams. But he looked lost yesterday.
So in the fight game, they have this thing called ring rust.
In the who?
The fight game.
Okay.
Boxing, mixed martial arts. You can fight for a long time. You can spar all you want, but you get in that live action, then you're just a little off.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, this guy hasn't been under live bullets in almost 2.5 years. He looked good in training camp last year. Political exhibition games didn't look bad. But then he had some alcohol problems. Good for him. He went and got it fixed. Happy for him. But it's been over a calendar year that he's been on an NFL field, and over 2 years since he's been in a game situation, like a legit game situation. And this isn't a shot at Hannasaga's fault, but Georgia was really good at football.
Yeah.
They were better than everybody else on the field. He didn't have to be the guy to be good enough. Because he's about Bryce Young, he had the pedigree of the team behind him to make him look really good, and the coaching staff to back him. Stenson had the same thing. How many players has Georgia sent to the NFL in the last 5 years?
Quite a few.
A lot.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback on a defense whose whole defense went to the NFL. And I think 9 of the 11 went in the first 2 rounds.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of talent you're surrounded by.
That's right.
It also means you can play a lot more reckless and a lot less scared.
Mm-hmm.
He never had to worry about losing his job there. Now he does. And that's a very, very scary place for a young quarterback because he's thinking that much too much. Go there and sling it. Remember that line in like any given Sunday when Al Pacino's like, you're back on the hood, you're playing in the street, just tell your buddy, run to the Buick and turn around. Use the throw. Football's not hard. It's not. It's a fun game. I feel bad. It's actually you start thinking, though, it becomes very difficult.
I feel bad for him or any quarterback in LA up to this point / Detroit up to this point because there is, as a rookie quarterback, you're learning behind the leader, which in this case is Matthew Stafford, right? And I understand that Stafford can tell you how to read a defense, but Stafford has an arm that very few quarterbacks have had in the last 30 years. And it's tough, I feel, to get behind whatever he's teaching you when he has just such much more of that extra velocity going, right?
It's like literally, could you imagine trying to listen to Brett Favre trying to play quarterback?
No, it took Aaron Rodgers, who has similar arm strength, to be that guy, right? So it's difficult. I just think it's difficult. Stenson in LA, I thought would have become like that first game. He was given all the opportunity. I think he tied over 40 passes too, or something like that. At the same time, I'm a little surprised that McVay, the players coach, it's like when your goalie lets in 4 goals or 3 goals. They just leave him in there. Yeah, just to get to the throw him to the wolves and like yeah. I guess there is some time to, but like it's at what point is your young quarterback already, who hasn't played, as you mentioned, 2.5 years and gone through some personal stuff, already in his head? Because we know that Stafford isn't long for LA. He isn't long for the NFL at this point. So
did you watch the game?
I watched the highlights of the game.
So I watched the game.
Yeah.
That was a very defeated young man on the sidelines. I don't think he's ever thrown 4 interceptions in his life.
No.
I can tell you that last year at Georgia, I don't think he threw 4 of the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he knew how to bounce back. And as an offensive coach, obviously Sean McVay doesn't care. It's the preseason. But like, you left that kid out there to die.
Yeah. It's just so funny when they take out starting caliber quarterbacks after 5 snaps or 7 snaps, and then you'll keep a guy who's struggling and from not get hurt. But you keep a guy who's struggling in there to mentally get hurt.
Press 4 for the preseason.
Yeah, for sure. That's all I wanted to say about Stenson Bennett. There were AR. This isn't just my pettiness, Chad, and hating the Colts, okay? But AR did not look very good either on his first couple of drives, which all he had. He only did 2 drives or whatever, but he only mustered 2 first downs in 2 drives. Well, or 4 drives, sorry.
You got to say your "I told you so" moment earlier. This is mine.
Who to who?
Anthony Richardson.
No, I mean, I never liked Anthony, so hopefully this isn't on me. Was Chad Shane a big fan of him?
This is to everybody in the NFL that said he was going to be Cam Newton.
The arm strength, right? The option running ability.
15 interceptions in college in 1 season. That's like 25 in the NFL.
Played 24 games his entire career in college, I think it was, right?
And he threw almost 40 picks.
It's crazy.
And he didn't throw a lot of touchdowns. Not a great recipe to build your franchise around. And he looks like Superman. Cool. I don't need Superman at quarterback.
Yeah.
I need a guy to put the ball in the right place at the quarterback. Once again, a team searching for a quarterback. Indianapolis is. They went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck.
Phillip Rivers.
They brought him literally like 1 foot in the grave. Like he was coaching high school football. They're like, hey, you want to throw this thing one more time? Because we are 0 for 3 now trying to find somebody. They had a guy whose relationship ended poorly with the Colts and Peyton Manning. Andrew Luck, who got thrown to the wolves and unprotected, unfortunately hurt too many times and decided to retire instead. Phillip Rivers, who had his like 14th and 15th kid while being with the organization and just didn't have time for the sport anymore. Now he's a head coach. I'm joking, but like he had no arm. He's not an NFL quarterback anymore, unfortunately. And then you go to AR-15, who can't stay healthy at all. Like he gets hurt last year. He comes back and he gets hurt again in training camp, and they're kind of babying him the way through it. But like this guy's shoulder is going to pop out again. Like what good is this guy's going to be as far as arm strength? They didn't have a shoulder to use. When you play reckless and you have an injury issue, I don't care if you're Superman or not. You're not going to be Superman.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, that's what they called him. Do you know what happened to Superman? His body couldn't take it no more.
Yeah.
That thing couldn't take it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play football at that level the way you did your whole life. It doesn't pan it. It's a very rough go.
And there's nothing, and maybe I'm just being petty again too, but there's just nothing about the Colts team that excites me.
There's nothing too exciting about it.
No, like their defense has taken a step back, especially unfortunately. I don't know what the heck happened to the freak, Shaquille Leonard, before they ended up dropping him, right? And then he went to Philadelphia and didn't even do anything there. And that was a free agent, I think. But on offense, like even their left guard, I'm forgetting what his name right now is, Nelson, I think it is. But
Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, Quentin Nelson. Yeah, he had a pretty big step back last year, which is pretty surprising. The offensive line as a whole wasn't really that good when they were touted to be pretty decent. You have Jonathan Taylor coming back, who's wearing the Guardian cap, the only one that's weird so far. I thought that was kind of cool. I'll give him props for that. It looked ugly as sin. I'm not going to give him props in the way that it looked, but like that's a position that if they need to protect their noggin, it's probably that one.
I'm actually more shocked that offensive and defensive linemen is not mandatory for.
Yeah.
I think that's the next step.
Button heads all the time.
Quarterbacks, like, so you don't need one. Like, they can't even look at you wrong. Now you're fine.
Yeah.
I don't see a receiver ever doing it because it's going to look ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go head to toe on point and have you look like Mushroom Toad from Mario Kart.
Yeah. I've not seen, even in training camp, I've not seen the big collisions yet with it. So that'll be, how well does that stay on? Does it rip easily? Like, what's the plan there? But there are going to be a lot more people. And it only takes one to start that movement. I mean, they were pretty prevalent even before they were mandatory in practice. There was quite a few players that picked it up and wanted to wear it. I think just that guy opening the door with it now and showing what it's like to the public, I think that more players will become accustomed.
Like I think it's going to be in the next 3-5 years. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman is going to be mandatory.
And anybody playing kickoff, because they know they just like to screw with the kickoff all the time, right? So,
it's so painful.
But you know what? I will bend. I'll meet them halfway. You give me old onside kick rules with the 2 lines, and as long as everybody wears a Guardian cap, I'm down.
But like, this is my whole thing. Like, I don't want to go too much deeper in this because like we don't want to go into like next hour of life. We said we try to keep this one short tonight. The onside kick. I don't like how you have to announce it. Like, there's been some pretty cool moments in the NFL because of surprise onside kicks. Mostly the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It won them that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It cost Peyton Manning an extra one. I think if they kick that ball off or they don't get that onside kick, that game changes. Because you're giving a really good Colts team in very good position of the ball.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. When I think of all of the onside kicks that I've seen in my life, I can't think of many. Like, they're not a play besides that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's not a play those aren't plays that I remember. But when the NFL's biggest ticket game features an onside kick that everybody who is over the age of 10 will remember for the rest of their life, how do you screw it?
Yeah, and for what?
Yeah, for what? To me, there was no injuries on onside kicks, it felt like. It wasn't as a safety thing at all.
The injuries happened down the field when a guy ran 90 yards at you at full speed.
Yeah.
Well, we got rid of that one.
Got rid of that one, the wedge. No more of the wedge, right?
Yeah. And then you got rid of you can't overload the one side.
Yep.
I was okay with that one. That way you can't send 11 to one side.
I loved it. Listen, that's what I said. Meet me in the middle. You give them Guardian caps, give me that back. Because I think that was the best. Guys play rugby at harder scrums than that. Yeah. Come on, let them have it.
There's a missile coming at you.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we already took that part away. Why can't we have a surprise onside kick?
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it's such a big deal, to be honest. I think you're ruining the integrity of the game. I'm going to sound really old by saying that, but there's certain things you can't take away. The element of surprise is the one thing that was keeping the people in. Because everybody who's a coordinator is a massive nerd. It is.
Mm.
That's why position coaches become head coaches sometimes, because they're not smart enough to be coordinators. You don't think there's some guy in the middle of nowhere who's already scoped out everything that says, well, they have to announce it. We just have to do this.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm going to attack the integrity piece here and the takeaway piece. If you're going to take away all this, that, and this and that from the onside kick, just take it the hell away. I'm done with it. Give me the 4th
35.
Yeah, give me the 4th and 35 or the 4th and 25 rule. Everyone wants to talk about for the onside kick. They're not. How many 4th and 20s? I don't have no idea what the math is. But if somebody can tell me that the 4th and 20 conversion in the last 40 years of the NFL has been anything higher than 35%, okay, maybe we'll make it 4th and 40 then. Like 4th and 25 is incredibly difficult to get in the NFL these days. So why not make it a little bit of fun and throw an extra play out there? Do away with an onside kick that in 50, 60 years hasn't improved. This is the other thing, too, is that in every aspect of sports, hockey, basketball, whatever, everything has gotten better. Everything. Shooting, passing, doesn't matter what, gotten better. Kicking has gotten worse, field goal-wise, and somehow not gotten any better on the onside kick. And I understand that there's an element of the ball shape and what it's going to do there for you. There's that in every sport. There's that in everything with equipment and with the ball and the rim and everything. How is that not improved to the point that we're seeing it at maybe a 15% clip?
Yeah, it's 2%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We've not even gotten close to double digits, let alone even getting halfway to double digits yet. That just to me has been surprising. It shows to me that there's an element of the game that can't be bettered. And if you can't better something in a sport, take it out. It doesn't belong anymore because I mean, it's an archaic aspect of the sport that will never be part of the new game. As the new game gets newer and newer, whatever new aspect becomes that game, right? It just take it the hell out. Get rid of it. It's like coming to golf, touching the club in the sand. Used to be a stroke. They got rid of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can touch the sand behind the ball now.
Here I was playing the golf like I was an 1820 last weekend.
Well, we were a little bit wet there.
Yeah. On that note, we are going to take off tonight.
No Titans talk. Look at that, guys. They're drawing you out.
I did it on purpose.
We'll wait for Shane to do that stuff.
Yeah, we got to wait for him to come back for that one.
Yeah.
He'll have a lot to say.
Sure.
Unless the Steelers lose next week, he won't be here.
Or if Ayuk goes to the Steelers.
Oh, then he'll have lots.
He'll have lots and lots to say. That's right, yeah. And I would too.
But yeah, no, everybody, thanks for tuning in, obviously. We can't thank you enough. This Sunday at Clubhouse, down at the Powerhouse in the courtyard, we are having that cornhole tournament. We want you guys all to be there.
We had an absolute blast last time, man. And it even rained a little bit, and we still had so much fun.
Well, do you know what they say about rain?
What's that?
Rain makes corn.
And the corn makes whiskey?
And what does whiskey do? Makes you moving a little frisky.
Okay.
So, hey, everybody likes a little good rain sometimes.
That's right. Raises more than just the crops. Eh?
We got our sponsors up here. That's right. Check the screen first. I pointed the right way. This way right here. We couldn't do it without them. Huge shout out to Cal Ox for always hosting us here. And Kayla, until next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.